What's up, friends? Welcome back to KimmyDTV, a place where nurses and aspiring nurses come to achieve academic, career, and life success. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about the things that you need to know before you complete your travel nurse assignment, okay? So now, guys, I know since, the health situation is going on, a lot of people, a lot of nurses specifically, are taking advantage and going into these travel nursing assignments. I see them dwindling down now, especially when it comes to the pay rate, because of the the jabs that are given and stuff like that. I can't say certain keywords because I don't want this video to be flagged. Because of the jabs that are being given, rates are starting to go down, and honestly, like, our attention is on something else right now that's going on in the world, which I can't say because I don't want it to be flagged. It's so crazy how we have to be so censored now. But people are still travel nursing, and right now I'm in my first psych contract. My contract is a local contract, and honestly, I really love doing local travel nursing for several reasons. First of all, I'm still in the comfort of my own home. I don't necessarily have to go anywhere, but I like travel nursing too. But anyways, this video is about things that you have to know before you go into your travel nursing assignment. Now, I'm not going to be talking about anything like paperwork-ish, like, oh, make sure you get your TB test done, or make sure you do this and that, make sure you find housing. This is not going to be about that. This is going to be about things that people normally don't tell you when you go into your travel nursing assignment. I want you guys to come mentally prepared so that y'all know exactly what you're getting yourself into, okay? So if you're someone who has never done a travel nurse assignment, you may have an imagination, you may have a dream, you may be very excited for travel nursing, you may have a vision in your mind of how you want it to be. And I'm not trying to kill your dream, I'm not trying to kill your vision. I want you to keep having those dreams and those vision, but at the same time, I want you to go into it with the mind of being realistic, and just don't go into it with rose-colored glasses. Know exactly what you're getting yourself into so that you'll be successful, okay? So the first thing I want you guys to do when you're going into your travel nurse assignment is I want you guys to go in with a goal, okay? And the reason why I said going with a financial goal is because, let me tell you something, when you decide to become a travel nurse, like, you really do decide, you change your insurance, you quit your job, and you're really making this a career, sometimes with a travel nurse, the good thing about being a travel nurse is, yeah, you have the freedom to work when you want to. You could take vacations in the middle of your assignment. But the cons is, with that freedom, it's like having your own business, quite frankly. Of course, you're not the sole business owner if you're working for an agency, but if you're really a travel nurse working for different agencies, you have to think of it like this. With travel assignments, you can get canceled. Depending on the assignment, I've had assignments that were canceled on me, and then I still got paid out that week that I was canceled because that was a contract. Some assignments, unfortunately, depending on the agency, they could change the rate in the middle of the assignment. Thank God that never happened to me. But some assignments, they could just cancel in the middle of it, especially if it's like, one of those fast assignments where they're like, oh, they call you today, like, oh, can you fly to California in 2 days, and they pay you like an insane amount of money. Sometimes they can cancel you in the middle of that. So what I'm saying is, with travel nursing, the potential to make in a great amount of money to, like, pay off your mortgage, or to pay off your loan, pay off your school, or buy a house, or whatever, the potential to make that kind of money is there in a short period of time. During the height of this health situation, unfortunately, I was in school. I was an LPN to RN school, so I couldn't take advantage. But during that height, a lot of nurses paid off their mortgages. A lot of nurses made so much money that they could take off the year off, and they didn't have to work. So that's the beauty of nursing, and that's the beauty of taking advantage of when the world is in chaos, and actually opening your eyes and, like, okay, where can I take advantage when everybody is chaotic and when everybody's just panicking. That's really the best time in life, I feel like, to take opportunities, when everyone else is panicking and, like, you're able to think clearly and straight. So you got to think in your mind that you could get canceled anytime. So your money management skills as a travel nurse, whether LPN or RN or even travel CNA, your money management skills has to be on point. What I mean by that is your saving account has to look so good, because you don't know what can happen at a drop of a dime, okay? I mean, if you're living with your parents, that's awesome. or if you're living with somebody so that you don't have to really worry about paying rent or stuff like that, that's cool. But if you're like an adult, and well, you're an adult anyway, but if you have your own responsibilities and stuff like that, like I do, you have to make sure that savings account is on point, because you never know what could happen. And you know, life too, like you don't know if you could get sick or something like that. So you have to make sure that your savings account is on point, okay? That's number one. Make sure you go into it knowing that, and like to plan for emergencies and stuff like that. So I would say like have at least something in the bank, okay? Number two, now I'm saying like you don't have to be like balling, because sometimes that's why you're going to the travel nursing assignment, to be balling. But I'm just saying like have at least something, because you never know if your assignment will be canceled. Number two, when you guys go into your travel assignment, I want you guys to have a financial goal in mind, okay? Before any assignment start, I always have a financial goal in mind. I look at the pay rate that they're offering me, and then I do the math as closely as I can, because I'm not too good with taxes, like how much they put out. Like for me, they take out a lot of taxes, because I always click no, I always check off the boxes that says take all the taxes that you want. I don't care if, even though that's maybe wrong, but even at the end of the year, like I just don't want to owe any money in taxes. So I always say, you know what, just take all the money you want, and at the end of the year, when it comes tax season, I file for tax, okay, they give me that money back. I'd rather do that, honestly, than to just go through all of that and like having to pay back in taxes. I'm not about that life. So I do the math, and I realize, okay, how much do I want to make after taxes, and I have a financial goal. So that's what I do. So the first things first is you're gonna have to figure out, okay, how much money do you want to make out of the assignment, okay? Hope for the best, plan for the worst. I know things can always change. Maybe you can't work as much, maybe you work less, maybe there's something, but hope for the best, plan for worst. How much money you want to get out of the assignment. Like, so for example, this assignment I am in now, before I started it, I was like, okay, I want to make A, B, C, D amount of money. I know that I know I will make that amount of money. I know that they have a lot of overtime, so that's a good thing. So I know I have to work this amount of days and that amount of days. Now, for me, travel nursing is really good, especially for people who like to work like crazy 1 month and then take 2 months off. Like for me, I don't mind working 6 days a week for a month and then having 2 months off, for example, because you're gonna make your money in overtime, okay? So that's another thing. As a travel nurse, you have to know that a lot of your money is made in overtime. It's made in regular base pay too, but a lot of your money is made in overtime, okay? So that means, like, as a travel nurse, you have to come in with the mindset of rolling up your sleeve and being ready to work. So because you're a travel nurse, you have to understand that they know that you're making more money than them. The nurses know that you're making more money than them. The staffing coordinator, everybody knows that you're making more money than them. So you can't be like, oh, I'm not gonna work this floor, I'm not gonna work that floor, or oh no, I don't want to work on this bad floor. I mean, I'm not saying like let people abuse you. Like if you feel like you've been working on the same bad floor all the time, like I've done that. Like you could vocalize like, hey, can I have a break from this floor? Like I've done that. But what I'm saying is like, don't be difficult, okay? Because if you're a travel nurse, like even if you're a regular agency nurse and you're obviously making more money than people who work for the company directly, like you have to realize like you're easily disposable. So what I'm saying is like you want to make sure that you represent your agency the best way. You want to make sure you represent yourself the best way, because even if you hate the travel nursing job, what if one person in there, like they're gonna give your agency feedback about you. So you want to make sure, first of all, like you get to work on time, you consistently get to work on time, you do your work, don't leave any work behind. And that's another tip I give you guys. Like a lot of times, not all the time, but some nurses, like they can feel some type of way because you are making more money than them. So some nurses, not all nurses, can like try to find any little thing that you do wrong and then hold that against you. So that's why I'm saying, when you are taking a travel nursing job, make sure you learn the ropes. Even though it's only 3-4 days of training, try, even when you're working, to ask people how to do this, how to do that, and like make sure you get yourself done. Like for example, in my job, especially when I work in the kids unit, I have to get consents for medications, and some of the nurses, they you know, they don't want to get the consents for whatever reason, they don't feel like it. But me, I know I can't be like that. I can't like not get the consent. I will get the consent. And the other nurse who relieves me, she's like, oh, I always love when you work because you always get the consent. So of course I have to get the consents, because guess what, that person who works for this facility, maybe they can get away with getting the consents. Maybe they can get away with like coming late or whatever it is. But you as a travel nurse, as agency, like only one complaint and they could just say sayonara, see you later. So what I'm saying is, you want to make sure that you dot all your I's and cross all your T's, because you're making more money than those nurses. There are going to be nurses that don't like you for it. I'm being real. I'm being so real. There may be even supervisors who don't like you for it. There may be people who don't like that you're making more money than them. And you know, it's crazy, like, because if you walk into a facility and you're making 3 times as much as the other nurse, like, you think they're gonna like you, and they know that. You know, when they ask me how much I make, I don't reveal it, you know, but of course they know. But I'm like, I just try to change the subject or whatever, like in a way that's like not rude. But it's like, you know, at the same time, they kind of have no right to ask me, in my opinion. But you know, people are people, they're gonna ask. But I always point them in the right direction, though. I always say, you know, hey, we have the same license. I have the same license as you. You know, if you want to do it, like, there's nothing, like, you know, that's one thing. Like, I feel like maybe I should make a separate video on. It's like travel nurses, like staff nurses, like, don't get upset at the travel nurses for making them money. Like, you have the same license as us. There's nothing like special. Like, you can just do it too. Like, of course you have to figure out the logistics and everything, how to make it work for your life, but if you want to do it, you can do it. Like, nothing's stopping you. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. Like, you may be put on the worst floor, you may be asked to like change in the middle of the shift. Well, that only happened to me once, thank God. But I don't know, depending on where you go and where your assignment, like, they're spending, think about that way, like, they're spending a lot of money for you to come wherever you are, to travel for a reason. That means they are desperate for your help. So you may go in, you may be walking into a situation, it's like, WTF, like, oh my God, what's going on? Things are not organized, blah blah blah, and you're gonna have to know how to work the floor while keeping your license and all that stuff. Okay guys, so that's what I'm saying. Like, just make sure you come in with the end in mind, come with the goal, say, hey, I'm gonna make this amount of money, and just stay focused on your goal. Okay, that's another thing. Like, you're only there for a little bit. Don't get caught up in, you know, drama or like little stuff like that. Just really stay laser focused on your money. Like, that's how I go in. Like, I talk to everybody, I laugh with people and I joke around or whatever, but at the end of the day, like, I know what I'm here for. Like, I know this is my goal. Like, some people, you know, I even exchange numbers with, and you know, and I've connected and I've made connections. I've talked about that several times. A lot of times I've found my next job through talking to someone else. So I'm not saying be mute and like stay to yourself and never talk to anyone, because that's not a good thing either, because then people think you're stuck up and then they're not gonna like you, blah blah blah, and they may try to whatever. But what I'm saying is like, have boundaries with people, and talk to people, because sometimes they can give you your next job. Like, one of the girls in the job that I exchanged numbers with, she was telling me about another job, and I was like, oh, thank you. So it's like, there you go, now I have my next job through a connection. And she's like, yeah, I know the nursing manager in this place, let me call them up. You see, like, just because I spoke to them, just because I was nice to them, just because I was like, you know what, you have an admission, let me help you, let me put that medications in, let me do this, let me do your assessment, let me, because I don't have any admission, like, you know what I mean? So it's really, really good to be able to network and stuff like that. So always remember, when you're in your travel nursing assignments, network with people. Yes, not everybody's gonna be your friend, but it's worth trying. Network with people, because they may, you don't know what agency they are, they may be giving you a tip that you don't know. So that's what y'all have to do. Okay guys, so yeah, I want to make this quick video on like things that you need to know before you get into your nursing assignment, just so that you keep that in your mind. All right guys, so I wish y'all all good luck. If y'all have any questions, leave it down below. Bye bye.